And if that's the case, you're going to have a slant asymptote. And the slant asymptote is going to be found by just taking long division of your original function. If you do the long division of that, you will get your resulting equation. And it's just going to be the first two terms of that long division. So it's everything, the quotient, not the remainder part of it. Okay, so if you see right here that the degree of the numerator is 3, the degree of the denominator is 2. So 2 can divide into 3. We can use long division for this function. And so if I use the calculator to find the long division quotient of that, and do you guys remember, what do I have to type in to do long division on my calculator? What command? Expand, good. So if we go to the Algebra 2, F2 Algebra tab, hit option 3, expand, I'm going to put my numerator in grouping symbols, so x cubed minus 9x. Close that off and then divide by the entire quantity of my denominator, 3x squared minus 6x minus 9. Close that off and then close off the expand command. And when I get this, it's going to give me my long division result, which was 1/3 x plus 2/3. And then I have this remainder, right? Well, when you're finding the slant asymptote, all you're looking for is the quotient part. You don't care about the remainder part. So my answer is going to be 1/3 x plus 2/3. So y equals 1/3 x plus 2/3. That is my slant asymptote. Okay. What that means is my graph of this function is going to approach the slant asymptote rather than the horizontal asymptote. Okay, so let's take a look at what type of question. You might be asked to just find the equation of the slant asymptote, which would be a question like this. You might also be asked to just sketch that on a graph. Okay, if you're asked to sketch it on a graph, what I want you to do is see if you can divide this function. So it's negative 6x squared plus 11x plus 4 all over negative 3x minus 2. I want you to see if you can come up with the equation for that, and then see if you can sketch that equation on a graph. Okay, I will give you the graph of the original function itself. Okay, and so all you'll be asked to do for this particular question is to sketch your slant asymptote using the same rules that we did with a linear form. So the slant asymptote is going to be a linear function or a linear equation, which will be the first two terms, right, or the non-remainder portion of your long division when your numerator has a higher degree than your denominator. All right, so if you take your calculator here, okay, and you divide, so I use my expand command, option 3 inside the F2 Algebra tab, type in my numerator, so negative 6x squared plus 11x plus 4, and then I'm going to divide that by my entire denominator in its own set of grouping symbols, negative 3x minus 2. Close that denominator and then close the expand command. And when I do, I get my long division result, which is my quotient and my remainder of 6. So I get 2x minus 5. That is my equation for the slant asymptote. And so when I sketch this in my graph here, I have a y-intercept at negative 5. I can use the rise and run of the slope. So I go up 1 or up 2 over 1, and that would be my equation. Okay, and so I can sketch that line. What you should see is the graph should kind of approach and fit right through that line based on the y-intercept and the slope that you find in your long division.